Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Fitz's Guinea Vision. Leah here. I hope everyone's having a wonderful, wonderful day. So, I want to talk to you today about the importance of appropriate guinea pig enclosures. Now, if you haven't seen my previous video where I talk about the pros and cons with a CNC cage versus a Midwest cage, I will link that in the iCards above or below, wherever it'll come across. And you can watch that video. But today's purpose is more or so to compare different sized hidey houses. There's many different types. I'm sure if you've seen in my videos, I have wooden types, I have fleece types, I have fleece forests, I have tunnels, I have all kinds of different hidey houses for the guinea pigs. Now, the reason I say we're going to talk about the importance of appropriate enclosures is because if you have an enclosure that's too small, then you're not going to be able to fit appropriate hidey houses in there. Now, your typical hidey house that you will find in stores is this pig glue right here. Now, they don't come with the holes on them. I drilled those holes myself so that they have ventilation in them, but they are still not my favorite. But in a pinch, they will do. Now, there's also other types like... I apologize for any background noise. The lawn maintenance is mowing the lawns outside. So other hidey houses you will come across is this pig glue barn. Again, I put the holes in there for ventilation myself. And it's got like little steps so they can come up here on the top if they want to. My piggies usually don't, so I'm not too concerned with it. But yes, you will have your regular pig glues. Sometimes you will find these ones, which is your average size, and it is plenty of space for them. Then they have, I believe this is a rabbit pig glue. This big one came with two of the pigs that I had got surrendered to me. Again, I put my own holes in for extra ventilation, and typically you can probably fit about 3 piggies in there. Now, sorry, I'll wait for the lawnmower to go by. Okay, I think we're good. It's not as loud at the moment. But now, if you're using a smaller sized enclosure or one of those average store-bought cages, if you're using the store-bought cage, you will notice how small of a space there is. So if you were to get a big pig glue like this, that's going to take up half the cage alone. So there's no room for the guinea pig to be able to do any zoomies or barely any room to popcorn. Sorry, bear with me with this lawnmower. Okay, so other types of hidey houses that you might find are items like this. This is sold on Amazon, and it is a 3-way tunnel with like a little built-in fleece forest. And it's approximately, let's find out how far. I'd say it's about a little over 14 inches wide. Then there are hidey houses like this wooden one here, which comes with a built-in hay rack, but I don't use it for a hay rack. You've got corner fleece forests, as you can see, like that. I like items like this because it gives them a sense of security, but it's open. It doesn't take up much space. Then you got items like the corner space house right here, which is only a one-way entrance, but I like it because it doesn't take up much space. It fits right into the corner. It's perfect. Then we have hidey houses, like in here. You've got a tunnel, which can be used for them to hide in, as Tilly was just showing an example of, and now Peppa is. You can also maximize space by draping a sheet or blanket over, like I have right here, so they feel like they have somewhere shaded and dark to hide. Then there's DIY wooden houses like this. This is a two-way entrance, as Lucy is showing you. We've got another tunnel. And then we've got another little tunnel fleece forest three-way entrance. And there's many, many other options of items you can use as hidey houses and stuff like that. But as you can see, this herd of four, Eliza, Lucy, Savannah, and Tokyo, are in a 6x2. That is the preferred amount of space for 4 guinea pigs. And as you can see, without crowding it too much, there is still not a whole load of, there's still not like a lot of place for them to really hide or run around too much. I have it set up like this so I can try to maximize their space, but there's not a lot to work with. Same thing with Peppa and Tilly. I draped the blanket over because I don't want to crowd their space with too many hideys, but I don't want to not provide them with hideys. Providing them with hidey houses for them to feel safe and secure is just one way to extend their life. So, as you can see, majority of the hidey houses that I've shown you so far seem to take up quite a bit of space. Sorry, camera's bouncing again. But then there's items like this. And although a guinea pig can fit in there, sometimes if you get 2 guinea pigs to try to get in there, it can crowd their space and they can end up fighting. They have items like this that are meant for rabbits or cats, mostly cats, or small dogs, and those ones would be the items you would want to get if you decide to get something like this. You want to get one meant for a cat, and you're thinking, well, a cat is so much bigger and a guinea pig is so much smaller. Why get such a large item? It's just going to bulk up and take up so much space. Well, that's why it's important to have an appropriate cage size so that you can accommodate these items. And I used to watch other YouTubers or pet tubers. I used to watch The Pig Room and Autumn Grace and Alyssa Nicole or Alyssa Impacts. And I'm not going to be afraid to admit, I used to not necessarily badmouth them, but I used to question, why do they need to spend so much money every month getting new hidey houses and new this and new that? Because they've already got all the items they need. Why get more and more and more and more? I never understood it till now. So, I have made comments on their videos in the past, and I regret making some of those comments because I full on admit I was in the wrong. I wish I had more financial money right now so that I could get more items to spoil my guinea pigs. I would love to do that. I understand why now. But it is what it is. And that's not the point of the video. The point of the video was basically to talk about the importance of appropriate cage sizing and why. And as you can see with some of the hidey houses that I have, they are larger items. Now, if you're using just a small store-bought cage, how are you going to fit these hidey houses in there? Where is there space for your guinea pigs to popcorn or do zoomies? Just like us humans, we like to... If we're going to exercise, we want to do it at our own pace, at our own free will, when we want, not when others tell us to. Well, why is it any different for guinea pigs, or dogs, or cats, or rabbits, or hamsters, or any animal for that matter? Why is it any different? Why do they have to be stuck living in a small space and only get exercise when it's convenient for us? How is that fair? It's not. So, not everybody is going to have 10, 12, or more guinea pigs. Some people do and others don't. Most people that I know of only have 2, maybe 3, 4 at the most. So, that being said, if you have only 3 or 4 guinea pigs, an 8-foot table from, let's say, IKEA or from the hardware store would be sufficient enough space to be able to make a 6x2 enclosure. You could also, it depends on whether you want it on the table. It depends if you want it on the floor. Do you want them to have more width space compared to length? There's so many things that you need to take into consideration when figuring out space and housing for your guinea pigs. For me, I am a short person, so sometimes I struggle to reach just to the wall here. So this is perfect for me to have the width of 2 grids, which is 28 inches long, because I use 14-inch grids. And I prefer to have it on the table versus bending down because it's easier for me to interact with my guinea pigs. Because when they become comfortable with their environment, this is what I come into. You get guinea pigs that just nap out in the open sometimes. Not because there's nowhere for them to hide, but because they're comfortable and they feel safe in their surrounding. Now we'll move the camera and look around this way. We got three guinea pigs back here. We got Eliza right over here. Right here. We got Lucy back there, and then there's Savannah. But here, that's not all. Let's go into the boys' room for a moment and let's talk with the boys. Okay, welcome back. We are now in the boys' room. Now, I don't know if any of you have seen the cage upgrade that I have done for the boys, but I have extended their cage out by a 1x2. They used to be in a 2x4. Okay, so here's the backstory quickly. When I first got the boys, the first couple of days they were in a store-bought cage because that's all I had while I was waiting for my supplies to come in. Then they went into a 5x2. That wasn't enough space for them, so I put them in a 6x2. Then I had 5 new intakes with the girls, and it was too many females for them to be around, so I had to put them in their own room. And because I needed some of the supplies to make room for the girls, I had to downsize their cage a little bit, which I also now know, don't ever do that. Guinea pigs do not like that. They do not like having their space downsized. So then they were in a 2x4, or actually they were in 2 Midwest cages combined sitting on the floor. I did not like that. So I built a stand for them, but I didn't like how the Midwest was sitting on top of grids, so I used existing coroplast and I put them in a 2x4. Everything was going well for them for a while. Then I noticed that Andre had some fur loss. Just a small amount, not a huge chunk. It does not look like mites. It does not look fungal. It looks like possible barbering. So that leads me to believe maybe they were stressed and that I'm going to, maybe I should expand their cage or whatnot. So I gave them a extension. It would be the equivalent of a 5x2 at this point, but I extended it outwards. So now this is what I'm talking about when I say 3 grids wide is too much for me. Look where my hand reaches. I can't reach the wall to clean that side. I'd have to pull everything out to clean them because I want them at a level height. So it makes it harder for me to be able to bond with the boys and pick them up, but it's doable. I just have to shift things outward. But because of the hidey I'm using, the main hidey that I put in their cage right here, it has a ramp to a little loft area, and it's got space in here for like multiple guinea pigs to hide if they're really close, and then there's space in here for one guinea pig. But I also have a tunnel in here. I did have one of the red piglets in there, but I don't want to crowd their space, so I took it out. But as you can see, cage space-wise, depending on what you use, just a wooden hidey like this takes up extreme amount of space. So if you're using a small cage, once again, where is there room for them to move around? There really isn't. Now, because they're in a room that's smaller than the girls' room, I can't have them in as big of a cage as I would like to offer them. So it makes it slightly difficult, but it's doable. And eventually, I'm hoping to expand their cage more if needed. So the main lesson to learn with all this throughout the video is when it comes to guinea pigs and when it comes to hideys, the more space, the better. I hope by watching this video, it might have given you some insight on how to create your guinea pigs enclosures. I hope it has given you ideas on different types of hideys that you can get that would be sufficient space for guinea pigs. And if you have any further questions or comments, please comment down below, and we will speak to you all in the next video. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and boop to your piggos. Boop!